Welcome back to Intentional Queen Podcast Journey to Restoration with your host Janine. Y'all, I'm so glad to have y'all. You know, everything on this channel we're talking about is empowering women on their self-love, self-healing, and growth mindset journey. I'm a certified life coach and I help ambitious women who feel conflicted with their life's direction while becoming more confident and whole in their next season. Okay. Did y'all like that word? We trying something new. So I hope that resonates with you because it definitely resonates with me. So we're going to say that one more time for the person in the back. Okay. I help ambitious women who feel conflicted with life's direction become more confident and whole as we go into our next season. So, what I want to do before we even get started is recap on what we've been talking about on the podcast. Okay. We've been talking about self belief, talking about self love. It's the month of March. So by the time you're hearing this, it's already been International Women's Day. So I am shouting my women out. I am saying yes, yes, and yes. I see you doing the thing. And also, we've been talking about authenticity. So I made sure to do a recap. I think the first episode of March, I did a replay. And that was my top episode I had did a couple years ago about being your authentic self. And I gave a word. People said that was it. So I hope that was for you, boo. That's it. Number two, we had Miss Mish Monroe come through and she's talking about how she had to be unapologetic and be herself. Okay. And so that episode has blessed the people. And this is the third episode of March. And I'm going to talk about I don't look like what I've been through. I was at a women's retreat earlier this month, and some of these women blessed my soul. And I wanted to resonate because speaking to some of these women, it was very clear to me that you may not look like what you've been through, but you have a message and a purpose. So don't stop what you're doing because you think that it is not going to impact someone else. Okay. So think about the people that don't get impacted by you not showing up for yourself and showing up for others. So you may not look like what you've been through, but it's that ability to go back and show up for the people that do need you, right? When I talk here on a podcast, I always talk about I speak to the one because I do it for purpose. Because when you become obedient with God, He'll show you that you need to show up. And the people who need you will be there. And y'all been rocking with me. Y'all, can y'all believe in October it's gonna be 3 years? Y'all been rocking with me. I got some newbies there and y'all rocking with me still, and I appreciate that. But I mean, I got some people that's from day one and y'all still rocking with me, and I appreciate you. I see the downloads, I see you sharing, I see you just showing up. Because that's something that's important too. It's just showing up for yourself and believing in yourself and understanding that your who is different than your do, right? Getting stuck in the identity of your roles, titles, right? Don't get wrapped up in that. Your self worth always 100, whether you're winning or learning. So now I need y'all to do me a big favor, okay? I'm looking for 10 lucky women to come on through, talk to me for 10 minutes. We could do it in a DM, we could do it over Zoom. I would like to pick your brain and get some more information with your own journey, right, towards wholeness. And also, you know, what you love about the podcast, what it is that you like, and what you see when you step into Intentional Queen journey with me. I want some good feedback. It's kind of hard when I'm speaking to the mic to get that feedback I fully need, but I would love to have a more intimate conversation with 10 lucky ladies, okay? And also some of the people that have slid in my DM. So you may be seeing me slide back in your DM and saying, set up a meeting with me for 10 minutes. And I definitely would just like to use a little bit of your time. If that's you, boo, make sure that you slide into my DM at Intentional Queen Journey on IG. Let's get to it. Two things that really resonated for me at this time of recording is Sarah J. Roberts did something called Glory Triggers. Okay. And somebody even DM'd me about it, but I had already watched it. So I'm shouting out that queen for DMing me like, Mean, did you see that? Yes, I seen it. I'm going to be real transparent and vulnerable right now. I was crying, you know what I mean, when she started speaking about some things. Sometimes God sends you a way to come back. That whole message, that part, that was for me. And the reason why I say is that because when you're listening to the podcast, it's me coming back for people, right? Sometimes He send you away. You don't understand at the time while you're going away or while you're experiencing what you're experiencing, but He didn't say don't go back. But you have to come back more whole, right? And that's why I gave you all my good tagline about helping ambitious women who are conflicted, right? You torn in where you're going with life, and you also just want to become more confident and you want to become whole in your next journey. But how can you come back and get people if you're not whole? Okay. And remember, it's a journey, it's not a destination. So there's still things I'm working on, but God will deal with you and then have you go back and help other people, right? And so you become the blueprint, right? I talk about you become the framework. It's kind of like Noah's Ark. I'm teaching my son Bible stories, and he was very inquisitive about Noah's Ark and why people wasn't listening to Noah when he was telling them the flood's coming, y'all need to get ready. And he asked me some really good questions. And the reason why I bring it up more for me is sometimes you don't have a framework. Noah didn't have a blueprint of how that boat was supposed to go, but God was his download, right? He was downloading from God of what needs to be done. And sometimes you're going to be tested and challenged and conflicted about the way you're going because of what other people say. And that's why you have to become more grounded in who you are and not what you do, and become your authentic self because you're able to stand in your truth and stand in your story. And so it resonated with me with Glory triggers, because once you get rooted, sometimes God pull you away so you get rooted. Well, one, you get unrooted, the bad seed, negative thoughts, or the limited beliefs holding you back in some of those spaces. But then you come back with new beliefs that are positive, or redirected goals, or things that do serve you versus things that don't. And when you're in it, you don't believe that it needs to happen. But when you come out of it, you learned that it was for you, not to you. That's a word. Sometimes you realize it was for you, not to you. It was a big master plan that was behind it. It was a big master plan behind Noah's Ark, right? Because the whole thing is God wanted to make sure that he had the population, what it was, a male and a female to each animal. And then they sailed away and he told him what to do. I say all those things because you may not look like what you've been through. And the reason why, when you come back into those spaces, to help people, sometimes they don't believe what you've been through because you don't look like it. This is a big year for me. And the reason why it's a big year for me is because I'm ending a decade of my life to start a new decade. Okay. I was asked at a conference, what are your thoughts you're thinking about as you want to see yourself in the next few years? And I'm like, man, listen, what I went through in the beginning of my 30s is not what I'm going to do at the end of my 30s, because I'm walking into my 40s with something different. And that's a personal declaration. So sometimes you are ending a chapter to begin the new. Sometimes God closed doors on purpose. The reason why your rear view is small is for a reason, because you have to look forward, but you glance back. You don't stay stuck. And that's where that confliction comes. And it took me a while to get there. Because it's authenticity month, people said, well, what is authenticity? It's being true to yourself. What is holding you back from being who you are? As I'm recording right now, I ain't even got my makeup on. I got my glasses on because y'all know how I feel when I put them on, so my vision clear, right? But it's just being who you are. And I realize y'all come and tune into me every other Thursday for a reason. Women want to coach with me for a reason. And so if that's you, boo, come see me, because I'm here to help you so you become more confident and whole in your next season, right? When we talk about becoming confident, I also talk about your self worth. And so there's a difference between being confident and courageous and being high level of self esteem. I was there choosing my words because I really want to be intentional about who I'm speaking to. And I want you to hear me, because sometimes people do throw big words and you be like, nah, they're not talking to me. Your self worth, who you are, is not the same as how confident you are, because sometimes when we get wrapped in our titles and things along that nature, we're confident, we speak with authority, but when we get into different stuff, it feels a little different, and we interweave them, our who and our do. And when we do that, we may shrink, right, when things aren't going well with our titles, and think that that determines our worth, and that's not true. I hope that made sense. So do not consume yourself and put your identity into the things that you do versus knowing who you are. And when you really get clear about your values, your standards, your boundaries, those big things, okay? But learn who you are. When you show back up, you may not look like what you've been through, but you are there to help someone else through. And you realize that, you know what, I am here on purpose. I have a purpose. I have gifts. Okay. I got some receipts, but they don't define me. And also realizing your people will find you. But how will they find you if you don't show up? That's a whole word right there. How will your people find you if you don't show up? Because I'm trying to tell you right now, when I started this podcast 3 years, for probably the first 3 months, I ain't tell nobody about it because I needed God to show me that what he was asking me to do was real. Because I was like, listen, I'm stepping into some spaces that I don't even know. And I need you to show me this is what we're doing. And he was like, you need to be obedient and show up. And they kept coming. It's all about how you position yourself. We always talk about the Ruth and Boaz or Ruth and Naomi. Naomi was helping her get in position. Okay. Sometimes you don't know what God's doing, but he may position you in certain spaces. He may make things happen. He may cause you to rest. That's a heavy word that I struggle with, especially because I had a lot of perfectionistic tendencies. Okay. And when you have those perfectionistic tendencies, you know what I mean? You don't know nothing about rest. You know about grind. Okay. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. We going to make it. And so even if that's at the detriment of my health, I was going to make it. If it was at the detriment of losing people, I was going to make it. And it got to a point that it wore me down. Okay, wore me down. And I was like, Janine, we're going to do better. Not we have to do better. I want to do better. When you talk to yourself nice, it's something about that self-talk. It's sexy. When you talk to yourself sexy, okay, it changes the whole narrative of how you talk to other people. And what I really realized in life, in hindsight, from some of the people that I've encountered over life, and even recently, I realized it wasn't personal. How they was talking to me is really how they talking to themselves on the inside. Because really, they probably had those thoughts multiple times before it even came out their mouth. So giving them grace in that space that really, I'm praying for you out here because you talking to me like this, but really, it's not about me. It's about you internally. And I did that even on the flip side of mine. Because what they say, take the speck out your eye for you come from somebody else's. That's Bible right there. So when you really get clear on your intentions of talking to yourself nice, wanting to do something versus have to do something, it's something about that connotation when you say I want to versus I have to, because have to puts pressure. Want to creates some type of endorphins in you that, you know what, I'm going to try this thing. And then also getting to the point of hurry up and fail already, but being okay that it's a lesson learned. That's why I say you're winning or learning, because it's something from that could be gained. But if you never try, you would never know. That's why I tell people I don't look like what I've been through, but when you want to talk to me about some things and we go deep, I've made more networking by taking down my vulnerability cape and saying, "Hey, this is really what's going on behind the scenes or what I've endured." And people have more respect for me because they realize, well, dang, that, but she don't look like she been through that. Yeah, because you don't got to wear it on your sleeve. But when you feel discernment, that's why I told you that was a hard word for me in my past. When you have discernment and you pray about God, is this is the space that I'm supposed to let down? Because you don't be vulnerable with everybody. It's stages to that thing. But when you feel like you can speak to it and it's purposeful and it's going to help the person, you're not dumping on them, right? Because heal people. So hurt people. Be mindful what's coming out your mouth. But when you are sharing from the place of, I'm here to empower you, I'm here to help you become more confident, I'm here to help you become more whole as you go into your next season. When you show up that way, it changes the whole narrative because now you're speaking from a place of healing versus a place of hurt. Oh, that's a word. I hope y'all took notes on that. I feel sometimes when I'd say that ego, right? People used to come for me. Okay. The new word is I got time today. And so sometimes I had time. I had time for the comeback. I got time today. When you're going into that next season, baby girl, because you becoming whole, right? You're becoming more confident in your situation and you're coming out of confliction and you're allowing your light to shine bright and you're running your own race and you realizing the difference between your who and do. Guess what happened? You're able to let go of the ego, that protection that you feel like you got to protect yourself at all means. Nah, you just out there keeping it moving. And becoming confident comes over time of being courageous because it's to continuously show up. There's so many deep rooted things that you don't even know that's been wrapped there. When I coach, I think about, this is the thoughts that I have when I say it. It's like having a closet and you just tuck things in there. You go through it, but you're just at a crossroad where you figure out, I don't really want to deal with it. So I'm just going to put it away for a rainy day until I'm ready to deal with it. And guess what happens? It will pile up. and pile up. And then you're trying to close the door to the closet and then it just busts open, everything come down and you have to deal with it. Finding a way and a space to deal with it piece by piece. How do you deal with an elephant? Piece by piece. I think sometimes we get overwhelmed, then we be turned into procrastination, then we have perfection paralysis kick in because we feel the need to be perfect. We lack vulnerability because now we don't want nobody to know that, our closet was full of all this stuff. But it's until you unpack, it's until you get down to the root, it's till you get to it that you recognize what needs to go, what needs to stay, or what needs to be altered. Because sometimes things need to be repaired, not necessarily thrown away. And then there's things that need to stay. But it's self-reflection. It's that time within self. It's that inner work. It's that cocoon work, right? Because when you first start off, right, I tell you you're a bruised caterpillar. And what that is you want to recognize that illness needs to happen, okay? And you want it to happen. You acknowledge, right? You become self-aware, then you acknowledge, and then we go in and we do the inner work, which is cocoon work. And this is what we're talking about here, getting to the point that you may not look like what you've been through, because a butterfly does not look like what it went through when it was in a cocoon. It does not look like what it went through when it was a caterpillar and it was fat and chunky, eating leaves and doing all the things it was doing on a tree limb. This is why I say I don't look like what I've been through. So I want you to say that out loud for yourself, because affirmations are key, and it's definitely key for your self belief. I do not look like what I've been through, but it does not discredit what I've been through. That shows healing and growth and a journey of wholeness, because you're going to your next season. What I say, we not doing backpack, nor Bob the Builder. If y'all need to know about that, y'all know I'm crazy, but go back, listen to some of the episodes. I go deeper. Perfection paralysis. What that means is you expect everything to be perfect because you don't want nobody to say nothing. You're trying to control their thoughts, their feelings, their actions. You cannot control other people's thoughts, feelings, and actions. That is on their side of the table. All you can do is think about yours. So when you show up, you say it does not have to be perfect. It's to a point that you are dealing with self, because perfectionism is a people pleasing tendency, because you conform, because you want people to think of you a certain way or people to respond to you a certain way. But the reality is you can't control their thoughts, nor their feelings, nor their actions. So losing some of those perfectionistic tendencies will help you become more free, because it will help you become more authentic, because you realize all I need to worry about is me, because how I start will be what I exude out. And that's what the energy I'm trying to get back. That's what I'm manifesting, right? We're in a stage of manifestation. Shout out my brother, he gave me a good book, and I think it's called The Power of Thinking or The Power of Love. But I'll get the information. I'll drop it in the show notes. But he gave me something. It was a really good book, and it was an Oprah read. So, he knows I'm into books and self development. But just remember, too, because I think with perfectionism, we get to a point that we're always trying to alter ourselves and not recognizing grace and saying, I am enough today, but there are things that I can work on. That's for somebody, too. So, you are still perfect in his image and likeness, but there are things that you could alter. And when you accept that I'm good today and I'm good in my future, but what can I do to get closer to the person I want to become? That will help you as you continue to progress. In April, as we're wrapping up in April, I really want to get into self care, and I really want to dig into vulnerability. If you haven't been following me on Instagram at Intentional Queen Journey, I want you to follow me. I've done two latest IG lives, one with Mish Monroe, because y'all heard her episode already. And then you're going to hear an upcoming episode with Marilyn the Chef, but we did an IG live. And you might as well say we did a second podcast, because people was in the comments, people was resonating with us on the live because we dug deep. Okay. And when I tell you me and Marilyn gave a word, we gave a word. Okay. So stay tuned. That's going to be coming up in the next 2 weeks. Like I said, man, I'm just so proud of y'all. I'm seeing so many good things happening. Like I said before, make sure that you recognize you may not look like what you've been through. Realize there's a difference between your identity of titles and the confidence that you exude when you show up as your true, authentic self. Dig up those roots that no longer serve you, but do self reflection. Decrease your comparison spirit and recognize that this is a journey and you are enough today, but you can always do better for tomorrow. I want these 10 ladies. I do. I want to get your feedback. This is very important for a project that I got coming up. I need you. I need you. I need you. So, 10 lucky ladies, I need you to go ahead, slide in my DM at Intentional Queen Journey. Let me get 10 minutes of your time where we can self reflect. And I just want to run some things by you and get some of your information. Okay. And we want to discuss everything that's conflicting you in your life's direction because I feel like this is a space and I want to continue to serve. And the only way to serve is to know that what I'm serving is what you need. You heard? So, Intentional Queen Refuel, that's the newsletter. It comes out the last Thursday of every month. And I'm going to be sliding in some more stuff because people already said, Neen, I need to see more of you in the email. If you want to be a part of the email list, you go to intentionalqueenjourney.com, slide all the way down to the bottom of the website. You type in your name and you will be in the newsletter, and that will come out through your email. Also, you'll get to watch the I guess it's 2 years now. What, y'all? 2 years, the Healing Summit. We've had, I think we're close to about 150 views on that YouTube video, but you can catch up and watch that for free as soon as you click in. So that has been blessing people. We had multiple testimonies. I am just so grateful. And what else, y'all? We got the Patreon community, Cost of a Coffee. And y'all can come over there. We're creating community, but definitely I want to see you ladies. I want to go ahead and continue to serve you. I have the coaching package, it's 12 weeks. And I want to have any woman on here that's ambitious, that is looking to change their direction, okay, because they're in confliction and they want to increase their confidence and become whole in their next season. If that's you, boo, come see me. Let's set up your coaching call, and I would love to work with you one on one and get you set up, okay? So, anyway, guys, I hope this was a blessing. Remember, you don't look like what you've been through. I see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.